Well, I would say good night, everybody, but in America, that means, bye. So, I won't say good night, but it's pretty late. And uh, I'll have to figure out what I'm going to name this video after I make it and start uploading it. But I was asked by my therapist to, in the light of all of the nightmare of an administration in the United States and all of the negative things that have happened as a result of this administration. I mean, horrible thing after horrible thing after horrible thing is what this asshole of a president of ours is up to. And I think he knows that he has swung the door way wide open for a lot of dissension to happen in the United States, and for a lot of white supremacists and racists and people like that to start shooting off their mouth very loud and very boldly with impunity and immunity. And it's like all of a sudden a shitload of Americans do not freaking care about black people, and they don't care about transgender people, and they don't care about LGBTQIA people. They don't, it's like all of a sudden they're just being very loud. So anyway, and obnoxiously so. And they only care about what they think and feel versus the people that are watching them and listening to them and having to try to be positive in the face of very ignorant things that they're saying, and the lack of compassion and the lack of care of what comes out of their mouth or what they do. I mean, look at how many black people are getting killed by the police for no reason other than they pissed them off. I don't know, but most Christians I know, killing people is a sin. And I don't care if they have a badge. Unless it's a war. But are we supposed to be at war with each other in the United States without a war here? See, that's this very sly thing that's going on, is that there is a war, and it is being carried out by millions of Americans, either overtly or covertly. And it's just... So anyway, my therapist asked me to try to think of things that have happened maybe within the last 6 months, or maybe even less than that, that are positive. So I'm going to attempt to do what she said, because I trust her. I trust her with my life. She is what I would call a true ally. She is not transgender, but she's one of these kinds of ladies who is willing to learn and research whatever she needs to in order to understand me and help me. So this topic got me thinking about the word allies. And I was in a radio talk show that I jump on every now and then, and we were talking about this word, who are our allies. And then I began to think, how many allies do I really have? And I think on a superficial level, which, on Facebook, everything, unless you meet somebody and you hang out with them, You talk to them on the phone and whatnot. Those relationships are superficial. They call them Facebook friends, but they're not really your friends. Um, and an ally. Um, so anyway, let me just say that there have been white people in the face of things that are happening who have um, jumped in the trenches with me. Um, and, literally went to bat with me over things that were going on at the time. And then you have people, and then I have acquaintances on Facebook that we're just friendly with one another. We care about each other's well-being. We ask each other questions. They'll see stuff that I'm posting. I'll see stuff that they're posting, and basically wishing them well. That's another kind of relationship. And also within the past month, I've had two people crop up in my life that I never expected to. One was a childhood friend, and another is a celebrity. Both of them are white men, and that made me feel really good, especially my childhood friend, because he was my best friend. And he did not know that my sister passed away, and I let him know, and we began a conversation, where I could feel the level of respect from him, and acceptance, that no matter what he thought I was when we were little, he understands who I am now, and he's gonna try to help me do some things. And the other guy is, truly, well, both of them are celebrities. Both of them are famous. I think I'm gonna stop there. I don't want to let on who these guys are, but but do I consider them allies? I mean, are we united with a common cause? I'm not sure. So those were some feel-good moments within the past month. And then I got to hang out with a lady that I call my aunt. I don't know if this happens in other kinds of communities, but in the black community, when I was growing up, it took a village to raise a child. And I had a lot of aunts and uncles that were blood aunts and uncles, and ones that were related to me by marriage. And then I have ones who weren't, but I called them aunt and uncle. And one of them was my father's best friend's ex-wife. So she and I met at an all-black restaurant in the area, and we had a really good time, and got to see black people bonding in a way that was just a lot of fun, and not about what the hell is going on in this country about us. And I cherish that relationship. She still misgenders the hell out of me, but I correct her. A lot of people that knew me as a child, and especially if they're a couple of generations older than I am, have the hardest time with embracing that I am a man, because in their mind they're seeing somebody else, and they didn't know what was going on at the time when I was young. I didn't even really understand what was going on when I was young. But spending time with her has, just lifted my spirits that day. In a veteran transgender group on Facebook, I intentionally said some things in there and put posts in there that I knew was going to probably stir the pot a little bit. And, for the most part, they closed ranks like they do. And, were upset with me for upsetting the apple cart. And I think a few days passed before this lady came out of nowhere and said some very beautiful things that made me not feel so alone in those groups. Because you know what? I know there's other people of color and black people in those groups that are, I don't want to use a bad word for them, but they are not my ally. There's a lot of blacks that are not, that are perhaps afraid of my politics and afraid of my radical way of being, that would let me stand there by myself fighting this fight while they sit off to the side and observe and don't say anything. There's a lot of black people in my life, not in my life, but on Facebook like that. So it's not, when I speak of all white people, I actually don't mean all white people when I'm saying it. I say that for emphasis because there's a lot of them that I'm acquaintances with on Facebook that, I wouldn't mind hanging out with them, and some of them I have. But are we best friends and best buds? No. But it's not like I'm so pro-black that I don't accept any white people in my life, because I do. My brother is mixed. I would be completely, if I hated you all, I would be hating people like him, and I don't. I do hate the system, and I do hate the way that it has manifested itself in people's behavior, and in their words, and in the way they come across. And I don't like that, but I don't hate the person unless, even if they hate me, I don't necessarily hate them. I just may not like where they're coming from, and some of them I just don't even tolerate at all. So, back on this, trying to see things good that are happening. I did an interview for a publication of these transgender men that were moving around the country. And I think I actually said this in another video, but sometime after that interview, one of the gentlemen got interviewed by somebody, and they asked him if there was anybody that stuck out for him, people that he had been, of all the people they had been interviewing, and the first person he mentioned was me. And I was extremely shocked and moved that I had a positive impact on those fellas. They were a lot of fun to talk with. They tape recorded the interview and then pulled out of the recording what they published in writing on a website, so on their website. So that, things like that happening where I wasn't expecting it and I didn't ask for it, tells me that even if I can be a little rough around the edges, that I'm making a difference in this conversation called life. This guy starts talking to me, And we chit-chatted for a while, and I don't know why, but he said, you said something to me 4 years ago, and I'll never forget it. And I said, 4 years ago? Are you serious? I said, I don't even know what I was doing 4 years ago. And he said, well, you were very kind to me and my wife, and I'll never forget it. And I was like, wow. When you're helping as many people as I've been helping over the last couple of years, I don't remember a lot of the things that I say to people because I'm doing it so frequently and so often that no way did I even remember what I said to this guy. But he made a point to come back and tell me that he thought my heart was pure, that I was a gentle soul. And see, I don't really let on that I can be a gentle soul because, like any human being, it's scary to be vulnerable, especially in front of the world on these YouTube videos. It's not comfortable, and it is a little frightening because people, not all people's intentions are good, and they may take my kindness for weakness, or they may take my vulnerability as a green light to try to pour salt in my vulnerability. So yeah, I can come off like a Billy Badass, but in all reality, I have a huge heart and a lot of compassion for humanity, which is why I'm so upset that people are so fucked up. Is because personally, I don't want it to be that way. I want us all to love one another. But when you look around what's going on in this country, it looks like the 10 times taller than the tallest mountain on the planet. It really looks like an uphill battle to get people to stop being morons to each other. I mean, and I'm not excluded from that. There are certain types of people that I have a problem with. And I don't have a problem with them directly. The only reason why I have a problem with them is because they have a problem with us, with me. And I won't even mention them because I've made another video about those particular kinds of individuals. And again, it's not like I hate these people. I just don't think they're pulling our community together, but tearing it apart and further dividing it. Along with a whole bunch of I'll say LGBTQIA, but those letters are getting longer and longer, and more is being added to it. And I'm not even sure why people want to complicate things even further just to stick out individually as this particular kind of sexuality or this particular kind of gender. I mean, I'm old school. I yearn for the days of simplicity when things were a heck of a lot more simple to understand, and that you didn't have to research until your eyes crossed to figure out what all these acronyms mean. And then the cisgender heterosexual community, they see us all the same. So the splintering doesn't even matter to them. It matters to the people who are doing the splintering of these acronyms and adding more letters to it. But so these are, some of the things that have been on my mind. There are people, and it doesn't matter what their quote-unquote race is, that have made a difference in my life, have allowed me to make a difference in theirs. And some of them bother to come out and say it, which means I'm not crazy, and I'm not some of the things that people have called me. And, I know what people are saying behind my back and to each other. I'm not. I'm very perceptive, and I'm not stupid, and I know what they're calling me. But it's more important that my life is about making a difference than it is about being popular and being a people pleaser. I'm not a people pleaser. I'm about what God wants me to do for mankind, whether it pleases people or not. Some of my dearest friends and my closest friends, they don't tell me what I want to hear. They tell me what I need to hear. And there's a whole lot of people out there that need to hear the truth, and they need to hear things that they don't want to hear, that it doesn't please them to hear. And all of my life, I have been that one voice that, after I speak, people come up to me and say, you know what, I was thinking the same thing. I'm glad you said it. And this has been going on since I got clean and sober in 1983. That I've publicly and out loud said things that people wish they could say, and 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 appreciate me having the courage to say it in the face of other people not liking it or not liking me, because I do love me. I've done enough self improvement in my life that my love for myself is enough that other people's opinions and feelings about me don't shatter me. They don't depress me. They don't, whatnot. It's more like the mood of the country is something that will depress me before what somebody thinks of me will. Because I can, I've got too many things I've accomplished and done for people in my life that, I don't have any reason to feel bad about who I am and what I do in the world. So, but anything else I could think of positive going on? I did decide that I'm going to go ahead and, get my, finish my book and get it published, because there's, I wanted to start another business, but there doesn't seem to be enough interest in the, what little people know about that to justify me coming out of pocket for them. Again, I've been looking for allies, even in that black-only group, people who are like-minded, and there's just not enough of them in there to justify the expenses of me, like I said, coming out of pocket to start that business. So, I'm going to switch directions and finish my book and make preparations for it to roll out to the United States. And that makes me feel good, even though it's still a little scary to publish my autobiography at this time in history, because one, I'm transgender, and two, I'm black. See, I'm not Chaz Bono. I'm not somebody who is living in privilege and white privilege, and so, I don't know who is going to come from where to do what. Even though my book is going to be an inspiration, it's going to be motivation, it's going to be fun, it's going to be sad, it's going to cross all areas of humanity, because I'm going to be laying it all out there. But you know how people be having tunnel vision, and they'll pick, one little thing that they don't like about something, and then they nullify everything else, even if it's magnificent. They will, try to pour lighter fluid on it and light it up with a match. Um, so I have to be prepared for that too when I do publish this, and I talk about it at length in therapy. Make sure I'm thinking of this in a way that protects my safety, the safety of my family, um, and um, and my friends, um, and everybody who wants to be named their real name in the book. I have gotten their permission, and everybody else, I'm going to change their name anyway. So that's not going to be a problem. But I am going to talk about these big ass monopolies, these businesses that I've had to deal with, and some of the things that they've been doing, and how different it is now than it was back in the before before the year 2000. So they're probably not going to like that, but oh well. I will have some legal people in my corner to help deal with those folks. And I don't know if I actually, what is all this in my mouth? Accomplished what my therapist wanted me to do, except to say to those people who jumped in the trenches with me when they didn't have to, and showed kindness towards me and showed compassion towards me and attempted to understand where I'm coming from and aren't just living in this bubble about where they're coming from. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I thank you for being a bright light in the middle of what looks like darkness around the world. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. I never forget things like that. Even if I don't remember your name, because I'm horrible with names. I have a block in my brain about names because I was exposed to thousands of people at an early age. So I built up this something or another that messes with me when it comes to people's names. But you know who you are. You know you reached out to me and grabbed my hand and said it's going to be all right. I understand you're getting through to some of us. And that lady who said that, she'll know who she is when she hears this, because that's what she said to me. Is that in the midst of a bunch of assholes in that group, that she jumped out and said, I can't imagine what life is like for you. But you're getting through to some of us where we're actually thinking about this stuff. So that is my purpose. That is my intent, is to be one of many men and women who are trying to create a wake-up call. No matter how rough it is, or how smooth it is, or how mean it is, or how kind it is. I'm human, and I can be run a little bit by my emotions and wear them on my shirt sleeve. But I learned long ago in Alcoholics Anonymous was to listen for the diamond coming out of people's mouths. Principles before personalities. And that is what I see, principles, so that I can learn from each and every one that has something beautiful to give humanity. I listen for the good in people, and the bad in them, I bless them and move the hell away from them. And then others that are closest to me, I accept the good and the bad. So anyway, I just wanted to make this video to attempt to do what my therapist asked me to do. I hope I accomplished that somewhat, that I brightened somebody's day, and that after I upload this and look back at it, I hope it brightens my day. I mean, I don't need much to be brightened up. I laugh all the time. I laugh at me, I laugh at people, I laugh at things on the internet. I look for things that make me giddy and laugh. And so I hope everybody has a blessed, it's Sunday now, and I hope everybody has a blessed Sunday. And the pollinator is out.